I wanted to share some information and some really fun things with you today. I'm going to show you the way I work. And I really work right off the top of my head. And even for people who have never drawn before, this is highly possible. I actually teach this and we have a lot of fun. You need a sketchbook. Actually, in this case, this is like recycled paper, which seems to work really well. And I have a rollerball pen here that I'm going to be using. This is fairly indelible ink, so of course, once you put the line down, that's it. But that's the beauty. So right now I'm working on a series of small paintings that can be grouped together, and they're pretty much floral, tropical type themes. Very, very simple, almost like icons. And I use a lot of gradation and I use oils when I do these. But the drawings are sort of studies of this kind of way of working. So I'm going to do multiple squares representing potential canvas sizes. And then I'm going to be working on each one to see how they relate together. And what I really like is the idea that they can be relating, but not necessarily. So they can be pulled apart, put together, switched all around in various positions to make a multiple composition, or also the paintings have to work singly as one. And this way of working is a lot of fun. If you have drawn before, this is a good way of just loosening up and becoming inspired. And it gives you confidence also to know that what is in your head is important as subject matter too. People that haven't drawn very much can start doodling and then work from that. And if you've seen some of my videos, there are some doodling videos that show you how to do that, to loosen up again and see images where you wouldn't normally have seen them, and then use them in compositions. So I'm going to start. You could just look over my shoulder and see, and hopefully you'll be inspired. I think sometimes in this way of working, best not to think too much about it, because then your imagination gets limited. If you have a basic idea, just even a vague idea of what you want to do, that's good enough for this kind of project. So these squares represent potential canvas sizes and a potential arrangement that I might be using. And again, these are just studies, so they will give me ideas as to how I can produce paintings in the future. So there's my 4 canvases here. And then I'm just going to start drawing. So I started drawing in some of the subject matter and you know, some cloud shapes, grass shapes, rock shapes. Everything is very quick. Like I say, I don't want to think too much about it, but I want to see how the shapes are working together. In this way, it's always good to, I tell my students, keep surprised. And just let your imagination go with what you're working on. This is not always so easy because we really want to control everything. And in this case, you really have to give up some control to your imagination and just let it work without any instruction at all. Some of my best forms that I've used in painting have come from just letting my pencil do what it has to do. Fine shapes. like to layer these shapes and intersperse them. The painting will give all of these shapes depth and color. I just did some yard work the other day, and as I'm drawing this, I'm seeing that some of the leaf shapes, some of the things that I pruned, the shapes are coming out in the drawing. It's amazing what the creative brain remembers. You don't really have to delve back into it, it's always just there. And of course, if you try this, you can use any subject matter you want. You can use faces, animals, shapes that just are abstract, squares, circles, swirls. It doesn't matter. It just has to be interesting to you. That's the main thing. So, moving closer in, you can see how these shapes interrelate and how potentially they may become a painting. And what I might do, I'm going to do several of these studies, and then I might take some colored pencils and fill in with color a drawing that I like to see how the colors work before I do the oil paintings. So I think if you really want to have a lot of fun drawing, you don't have to do several different shapes like this. You can just do one and see what you can come up with. And you can see how these little studies that I've done may lead to a colored pencil, as in the case of this colored pencil drawing that I did, to oil paintings. In this case, here's a series of small oil paintings that I did that actually came from sketches that are very similar to the ones I just showed you. And to see more of these paintings, you can go to my website, freeonlineartclasses.com, and go to my gallery, and there's a lot more of these oil paintings on that website.